Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. Big Jake was born Jake Robles in 1969. He will grow up in Compton, California, around the Campanella Park community, which is a Piru hood. Jake developed a major reputation in his community and was highly respected amongst his peers. His street activity led to a life of crime. Jake was first arrested for robbery at the age of 17 in 1987, and the arrest is something that continued. In 1988, he was arrested for drugs. In 89, he was arrested for stolen property and a parole violation in 1990. In 1991, he was arrested for a felon in possession of a firearm that got him 16 months. By the early 90s, Death Row Records headed by Suge Knight began to take off and become a major force. Suge growing up in Compton himself, he affiliated himself with the Pirus, and Big Jake was one of his closest friends. Jake was known to make money in the streets on his own, but with all the money that Death Row was beginning to generate, he was all in. He started managing artists and playing his role in the early days of Death Row, even playing enforcer and bodyguard for Suge. He appeared in a film called Dead Homies, detailing him and also his neighborhood.
I'm just gonna kick a little something. Everybody want to know why people bang, why people kill, why people do this, sell dope, and you can't just look at the individuals because you have to look at the environment that they're set in that creates these conditions for them to have to live and do the things that they do, and so we just kicking it like that. We ain't out here essing on our chest, but it's like everybody out here want to be a tough guy, killer, a gangster. You understand? But most of the killers and gangsters I know either got all day or dead. So everybody out here just living. So we kicking it from that perspective. It wasn't like no peer pressure thing. Why I'm just jumping on the bandwagon. I'm gonna do this because all the homeboys doing it. My thing is like growing up in a certain neighborhood, you have altercations with people that grew up on another part of a certain neighborhood, and you grow up, and it's affiliation through association, and then coming up with that, you know what I'm saying? My mama just happened to have her house on the side where the red team was at, so there it is right there. And in doing that, you growing up, doing everything out in the streets from murder, money, violence to sex, and the out of town, going out of town with the doing your work and all of this, that's all been done. You know what I'm saying? It's 94. You got to have a new twist with things. I did a year juvenile. You know what I'm saying? 4.5 years in the state penitentiary. I done been to damn near all of them. Folsom, Quentin, Soledad. Jamestown, Solano, Vacaville. On tour. So as far as like all the negatives I've seen. Now, in my life at this point, I'm making a transition to do positive things and to try to alleviate a lot of the bullshit that's going on out here in the streets with these youngsters that ain't knowing.
As the years went on, Death Row Records became more successful. Jake's role grew bigger, and he was basically Suge's right-hand man. By September 23rd of 95, Suge was in Atlanta with Big Jake. Suge usually has a big entourage, but that night, it was just him and Jake, and they attended Jermaine Dupri's birthday party, which was at an Atlanta nightclub. Diddy was also there and had a large crew of people with him. Just a month before, in August of 95, Suge did his infamous speech against Diddy.
I want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the records, dancing. Come to Death Row.
I'm the executive producer that a comment was made about a little bit earlier. But check this out. Contrary to what other people may feel, I would like to say that I'm very proud of Dr. Dre, of Death Row, and Suge Knight for their accomplishments. And all this East and West that needs to stop.
Allegedly, Suge came into the party throwing his muscle and power around. There's several different reports from different interviews of what occurred over the years. Some stated Suge was pressing people, and even some stated he slapped Diddy and Jermaine Dupri. But this is all different narratives and different interviews and viewpoints, so anybody could be lying. An off-duty police stated he seen Suge and Jake getting into it with at least 6 Bad Boy members. The officer stated it seemed to start over a woman, and this later led to pushing and shoving. The altercation spilled outside where Suge and Jake were reportedly leaving, before shots at the end of the night were fired. As the night ended, Jake was laid out with 3 bullets in him, which he later died from.
And then you seen him standing there and he was shooting Jake And I was standing right next to Jake, but being that I knew who the shooter was, I knew he wasn't gonna miss. And he was just close enough to handle what he was doing. So I sat there and I looked and I was watching and I saw him do it and I saw him leave. But
what? You said something about in the book you talked about he was like looking at Suge like you're next.
Yeah, he was looking when he was shooting Jake, he was looking at Suge to say this should have been you. But he couldn't shoot Suge because Suge had grabbed Puff and he had Puff in like a chokehold in front of him. So as the guy was shooting, he couldn't shoot Suge because he would have shot Puff.
Many rumors speculate who murdered Jake. Some state Diddy's bodyguard, Wolf, who was eventually killed 8 years later in 2003.
Yeah, I mean, the story is that Big Jake got killed by Wolf, who was Puff's main bodyguard. Right. Wolf is dead as well. So, right. We're not, implicating anyone by statements like this. But, after it happened, the story was that Suge was blaming, since one of Puff's guys allegedly killed his man, he kind of blamed Puff for that. And, one thing started to lead to another. Blame for it and so forth. But I guess Wolf wasn't the one who did it, but still there was some sort of blame that Suge had on Bad Boy over that situation, right?
I don't know if Suge had blamed Bad Boy for that because the situation never came, when I got with him, the situation never came to us like that. Now, I've heard Wolf talk about it, and Wolf told me personally that he didn't do it.
Jake's death was the official fall-off point, and no comeback for anything affiliated with Death Row and Bad Boy Records. And this eventually led to the death of both Biggie and Tupac, making this the deadliest beef in music history. Jake was 26 years old when he died, and his death is still a mystery on who 100% did it, with so many different accounts of that night.
Because I don't think everybody be sincere about, putting this gang thing behind us. And I know a lot of people been killed behind it, a lot of lives been taken, But my thing be like this. People want to be gangsters, they want to put work in, want to do this, but you can go around the corner and just shoot up 3 or 4 black men. The sheriffs get behind you. You got 2 AKs in the car, 4 Tech 9s, 10 pistols, and they tell you to freeze your stop. You understand? They only 2 individuals with 2 guns. You just went and shot 4 or 5 blacks up, but you freeze when they tell you. I'm saying if you're a gangster, sell the ranch, grandma, grandpa, the chickens, everything. If you're going out with bullets and gun smoke, don't just stop with yours. You understand me? Deal with it on that level if that's what you're doing. If you're not, get out the way. Let somebody else that is. Quit perpetrating.
This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, hype, comment, and subscribe.